Hello dear students, welcome to the part 4 of our 5-part series of the top 20 species that are going to be important for your prelims 2025. The next species that we're going to discuss is your Halari donkey. Halari donkey it has come in your news several times. Halari donkey is a species that is primarily seen in Gujarat regions. It is the primary domesticated animal that is used by your Bharwad and Rabari pastoralists. So the Bharwad community and the Rabari community, who are primarily, they graze the animals and everything, they have a lot of, the Halari donkeys seen in their ownership. It is also used by the Kumbhar community to carry their loads. Kumbhar is the potter community. Halari donkey has been, the article about Halari donkey has come repeatedly in your PIB, and this is something that from 2023 onwards, several articles have reported Halari donkey in news. The conservation status of it is endangered. It is a highly resilient species. It can occur in extremely arid conditions with very less of water. And despite that, it also produces a good amount of nutritious milk. So look at all the importance of it. It's used by the Bharwad and the Rabari communities. It's used by the Kumbhar community for different purposes. Its conservation status is endangered. It's extremely resilient and it produces nutritious milk. The next species that we have to discuss is about the long-billed vulture. I have told you this, the vultures of India are under threat in different fronts. Out of all of those, the long-billed vulture is extremely threatened. The long-billed vulture is the one which is otherwise called as your Indian vulture. Okay, so the Indian vulture, otherwise your long-billed vulture. The long-billed vulture is found in India and Southeast Pakistan. If you look at it, IUCN has listed it under critically endangered. And normally I do not bother giving the CITES appendix of all, but just keep a note over here. Despite it being critically endangered and super important, CITES has listed it as just an appendix 2 species. Okay, so it's an appendix 2 species. The primary threat to the life of long-billed vultures has been because of certain anti-inflammatory drugs that are given to the cattle. And once the cattle dies, the carcass of it is eaten by your long-billed vulture and other vulture species, and it affects them. One particular anti-inflammatory drug given is your diclofenac, which is now banned in our country because of this, or the use of this is very much regulated because it has this full cyclic effect on the population of the Indian vulture. Moving forward, we have to discuss a little bit about the hornets. Hornets, if you've not heard about this species, hornets are something it's there all around us. It looks like a honeybee. It looks like a wasp actually, but it's much bigger than a wasp. So now, because of the growing trend of UPSC, looking at not just individual species, but just the group as it is, let's have a discussion about hornets. Hornets are social insects, and they are the largest of the wasp family. What does it mean by social insect? That means that, you remember the UPSC question where they say they try to communicate to the kin, etc. So yes, hornet is one such group of wasp that tries to communicate the location of its nest, etc. to its other partners, other relatives that are there. Hornets are extremely aggressive when coming to defend their nests. which means what? Their nests are built, they construct their nests from scratch with a paper-like material which is made from the chewed wood fibers. They, from their, the different secretions that come from them itself, it's like a chewed wood fiber mixed with the different enzymes from the hornet. They make a nest. And it's made with so much of effort. And if at all any kind of activity comes in a way that it's trying to destroy the nest, the hornet gets very aggressive. It can come, it can, you would have heard this very common usage called as kicking a hornet's nest. Kicking a hornet's nest primarily means that, you're going to enter into so much of chaos and so much of destruction. And that is exactly what it is. Because if you are going to attack the hornet's nest, it's going to get you. Okay, so this is one feature of it. Second feature of it is, if they get you, the venom of your hornet is toxic. Okay, the sting of it, the whatever it tries to attack you with it is toxic in nature. Another important feature of the hornet is one of those, if you look at your wasp, if you look at bees or any of these things, if it goes and tries to munch on any food that has alcohol in it, it affects the body systems of that insect. But your hornet can easily go and munch on any food that has alcohol content and it has no side effects. So the hornet can actually hold its liquor and it's not going to have any side effects on the insect. Okay, so this is all what you need to know about your hornet. The final species in part 4 of our 5-part series on top 20 species is your hoolock gibbon. Okay, so you've heard about the hoolock gibbon. Hoolock gibbon is India's only ape species. Okay, so there are 5 ape species all in the world. You have the gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, bonobo and gibbon. And the gibbon species is the only one that's seen in India. Okay, so if you look at the status of it, you have IUCN has called it endangered, CITES has put it under Appendix 1, and in India you do see the hoolock gibbon in Nagaland, Meghalaya, Manipur, Arunachal, Mizoram and Assam. You see it in large part of your northeast India. Okay, and as any other ape species, it can swing up to 6 meters in a single leap, reaching speeds of almost 50 km per hour as they move between trees. Okay, so this again has put hoolock gibbon in our top 20 list. Now stay tuned and be ready for the final part of our top 20 species, part 5, that will be put out soon.